IBS College Kolkata and a PGDBA from IBS Hyderabad. Mr. Thakkar has been instrumental in spearheading the AAA Solutions operations and providing a strategic direction since its inception. Mr. Thakkar has pioneered software solutions for the retirement benefit fund industry in India. Under his leadership, the company has witnessed geographical expansion across major cities in India and also introduced leading-edge IT and support solutions for HR department, including payroll and retirement benefit funds, finance and treasury departments of major companies. Prior to his entrepreneurial journey, he had a stint in debt markets with a leading investment banker. He has been an active member of NASSCOM and has been instrumental in bringing together the industry and startup community on a common platform. I warmly welcome you, Mr. Sachin Thakkar.
Let me go over to Sachin now. Sachin, we understand being a product company, it was never easy, right? And being a company, we were interfacing a lot with some of the top concerns in India in the area that you are dealing with. So what has been your experience, if you sum up, maybe in 3-4 minutes, in terms of how has been your journey in these last 6-7 months? And tell us about 3 or 4 takeaways for our audience here. How you coped up with tough scenarios and maybe some innovations that you did for yourself and the team.
Right. Nirupam, that might take a little longer than 3-4 minutes.
Sure. Please, I think that would be an interesting story for you.
There were in fact a lot of lessons, tough lessons learned. And the first and foremost lesson, I would say that we should bow down to Mother Nature, pleading guilty of actually plundering and ravaging her to the extent that we have to see this day to day. Okay. While we learn a lot of patience from Mother Nature, we also got a message that if you fool around too much, you will get back in million folds. Not only to this generation, but even our future generations are going to suffer because of that. While we are trying to make a positive out of everything, that's why we have named it app-normal. So we are calling it new normal. Okay. And we'll definitely pick up the positives from there. But if you see, it is definitely abnormal. Wearing masks and social distancing is something which is not normal. Okay. Although we might have to follow it for some time. So what needs to be done is organization-wise, we need to sensitize people on this particular topic. That if we are talking on this subject, why at first place did it happen? Okay. Each individual, and I speak of organization because organization is a part of society. And like in school, they teach students and they sensitize the students on various topics. It is our responsibility as the leaders in the organization to also sensitize people on these topics. Each individual can be ready for some more catastrophe which might be awaiting maybe in a couple of years. Who knows? Okay. So in that scenario, an individual has to think that in this kind of a life, what is important and what is not. That's the first part. Second part, if an individual has to think so, the leaders of the organization too have to think what is important for the organization and what is not. What is the purpose of the organization that they are fulfilling? Okay. Compassionate leaders, authentic leaders will communicate well in this scenario, will communicate deep into the organization, cutting down all the hierarchies. Okay. And maybe accepting their vulnerabilities, that this thing happened. And in fact, as a leader, we also do not have an answer in certain cases. Okay. Lay open their vulnerabilities to their colleagues so that maybe a creative approach or creative strategy can be built up by consolidating ideas, by leveraging collective wisdom of all our colleagues. I think that is one role that a leader needs to play. Third point is only a team can pass through this difficult time. Yes, you heard me right. Only a team can pass through this difficult time. Now, for me, team is actually trust, empathy, adaptation, meaningfulness. I repeat, for me, team is trust, empathy, adaptation, and meaningfulness. Only when you have trust and empathy shared amongst your colleagues, okay, and you give them some kind of meaningful or some purpose for which they are working, you will see they will be quick to adapt to the situation. Imagine the entire organization, if these values are imbibed into the organization, and imagine the entire organization as one individual. You will, the trust will be the legs on which the organization will run or walk. Empathy will be the hands with which they will help others. Adaptation will be the mind of the organization, where they'll be agile enough to adapt. And meaningfulness will be the heart of the organization, where they would know why does that organization exist. Okay. Having said that, I believe teamwork will make the dream work, but it is not the team that we have been talking about, a bundle of people doing projects together, but the team that this is a new acronym for me. Okay. The fourth item is digitization or digital transformation is now a necessity. I am sure you would have heard this joke being circulated in April, March, where there was a quiz. It asked that who led the transformation, digital transformation in your organization? Was it the CEO, was it the CTO, or was it COVID-19? So obviously it was ticked as COVID-19. Okay. Now in fact, in April, March, most of even the largest organizations would have answered COVID-19. Okay. But if today we still have the answer as COVID-19, that would not be a very nice situation to actually see. Okay. So CTOs, the CEOs, and COOs will have to take lead and do this digital transformation primarily on two counts. Okay. Another important thing I would like to mention here is that when we talk of stakeholders, there are multiple stakeholders. There are shareholders, there are government agencies, there are employees, and there are customers broadly. But in this situation, the entire focus would be on the employee experience and on the customer experience. Okay, your internal customer as well as, for the time being, shareholders and other government agencies, statutory bodies can take rest. Don't take me otherwise, but I'm saying our immediate focus should be on the employee part and the customer experience. Okay. Now on the employee part, there are they use a hardware to basically deliver services, and they use some tools. In this remote working environment, they will require the collaboration tools. Now I'll share our example. We had some 5 to 6 different collaboration tools which we were using in the old normal, where, for example, we had Zendesk for ticketing, we had Jira for projects, we have Pipedrive for CRM, we had WebEx for remote support, etc. But in this time, we really felt that these were not sufficing, and we kind of explored a few more tools which will at least help us collaborate across the departments and across the organization. We evaluated few vendors and we found Zoho One. Although I am not canvassing for Zoho One, but I am a satisfied customer of Zoho One for the past 6 months. It has helped us to work in this remote environment with much ease, because we have seen the month of April and May, which perhaps we will not be able to forget. And we have also seen the subsequent months from June till date.
So, Sachin, just interrupting, did you start evaluating post-COVID, or you were actually already thinking before COVID to actually do this transformation?
No, it was a post-COVID reaction. It was a post-COVID reaction, because earlier when we were physically present in the office, all these 4 or 5 tools were also sufficing. But in remote environment, it was becoming a drag. That is where we explored this and we found it extremely helpful.
Excellent.
Not only for internal, even supporting our clients outside. There are 2-3 business apps in Zoho One which can help us support, or we are in fact regularly supporting them. Even the projects that we do, we can share some screens of Zoho projects with our clients so that they are able to see the real-time situation or the status of the project. Having said that, the other part was the hardware part. Now we had 50% CPUs. We were not perhaps I would say as lucky as or as prepared as Sanjoy was, where most of the things were in place. Maybe with some variations they could adjust. We had 50% CPUs, 50% laptops, and it was not it was not possible to pass on the CPUs to individual employees' space. Hence, we explored some cloud facilities, and then we shortlisted AWS after a couple of months of struggle. Again, to tell you, we're quite happy with AWS. There is a flexibility in terms of work and time, and in terms of scalability. Onboarding today is not a challenge. We can onboard anybody in a couple of hours' time. We don't have to worry on the licenses front. We don't have to worry on the hardware procurement terms where when 3 or 4 people were supposed to join, we had to bother all that. It was quite a task. Now, all that has become quite easy today. The next level, which we have not yet attained, is cloud telephony, which perhaps should happen in the next couple of months. The last important point in this digital transformation, we were wondering that while we have a physical virus now, and the entire now world is moving towards cloud, what happens if we have a virtual coronavirus now? Okay, we will again be back to not the old normal, but maybe the old normal. Okay, so what we have done, we have retained some of the physical assets as well. We keep it on for some time, and so that in case of any such emergency, we can, with a short notice, fall back on these items. I mean, our old assets. So that was broadly our experience with.
I think you raised some very, very important points, Sachin, in terms of reflecting on some of the best, when you were talking about process, how you really took the challenge head on and took some fast decisions. Further to that, the empathy factor, the people factor came in quite strongly, and you were dealing with, obviously, the pension funds, and you know it very well how it's so important.
Correct.
We got some important insights from you in terms of usage of cloud, and of course you're using secure cloud, very in simple terms.
Yes.
To make sure. And also you spoke about while unlocking and while going, you have to be ready to go back to earlier scenario. Of course, we'll never go back to pre-COVID scenario. We're almost all sure, right?
Yes.
It will never be the same again, perhaps.
Okay.
Most big organizations have totally almost decided, many of the organizations, I don't want to name here, have decided that will go for the hybrid mode. Like many people will be permanently working from home, and some people will be going to office, of course, for huddles, etc. Okay. But we have to get ready for that new normal. Right. So we got some very interesting insights from your experience with customers in these times. Tell us some of the concerns that product companies would have faced. I'm sure I heard from some of the other leaders also, and how they have coped with it, and
right.
some ways as to how you dealt with it and how you to other customers.
Right.
In different parts of India, and how we're collaborating, how we're reaching other leaders, how you are planning ahead. Here are some of the customer cases from you.
Okay. Before I come to that, just a couple of points I would like to mention here. We're doing work from home, and actually it's a boon. Okay, just that we need to maintain the right work-life balance, which unfortunately has not happened in our Indian culture. Maybe we need to learn from our Western counterpart of some kind of dignified work hours for our entire staff. This I expect the society, the industry to also take it up in various forums. Because work from home, while it is a win-win for the employee, for the employee's family, for the organization, and for the nature, it will not be so if people have to work at odd hours. And that has been our experience.
Absolutely.
And when you mentioned clients, I have been talking to some clients also, requesting them not to call after, say, 7:30 or 8. Maybe politely, not that we don't take calls.
You have the luxury to do that. You're doing well, I'm sure.
Yes. But we need to look at this if work from home has to be a bombastic success.
Right.
Second, most important thing, which I missed at the earlier part, is that the scope of recruiting people from small towns, villages, is now enormous. Yeah. We don't need to recruit people from larger cities or large campuses here. Okay, that is a fantastic opportunity. I would say the real benefit of IT is now coming, where across India, people will have the scope of sitting in their home and being with their parents and yet delivering to some of the larger corporates of the globe. Okay. Now coming to your question of of our experience with our clients. Yes, as Sanjay said, we were glad. I mean, we're lucky enough to have good number of orders since May, June onwards. Okay. Since we deal in applications for retirement trust funds, the Provident Fund, Superannuation Fund, and Treasury funds, which involves a lot of employees. So corporates with say 2,000 or 3,000 above employees, they were looking forward to make this Provident Fund and Superannuation Fund available online, which was not, the digitization there is slightly poor, which was an opportunity for us. So a lot of people have come back to us because we make this paperless application for loan by the employees, application for settlement by the employees, be they anywhere in India or in the world. So that has definitely helped us, this particular product of ours. And one success story that I would like to share, one large media corporate house placed an order sometime in February, okay, gave us their data by sometime end of March. And we were at the peak of that COVID-19 crisis. In the month of April and May, we completed the entire migration for around 14,000, plus there was some dormant around 28,000 employees sitting here in Kolkata, okay, with people working across. So that was, I mean, even in normal times, I bet it wouldn't have happened that way. I'm very open to accept that.
In this,
that was
recruiting also, like you have recruited.
Yes, we have recruited people from
districts of Bengal and other places also.
Yes, we have done it not from Bengal right now, but from Shillong, from Noida, from Mumbai.
Okay.
We are looking at people from Hyderabad. So now we even earlier when we used to recruit, we used to think that no, he's going to come from 30 kilometers away from Kolkata, whether to recruit him or not. But now the entire world is open for recruitment. That is something which is phenomenal.
Absolutely agree with you. Okay, so if I have a minute, I want to leverage this time. I will ask three of you. We see you as role models for new age leaders. You are, of course, you are good leaders. Tell us, each one of you, Sanjay, Anmol, Sachin, tell us 3 characteristics or 3 attributes of good leaders in these times. Sachin?
Yeah, I know not. I know not who would make a more fitting guide in these turbulent times than Swami Vivekananda. On leadership, okay. His words were, if you want to be a leader, you be servant of servants. And later on, Robert K. Greenleaf termed this philosophy as servant leadership in 1977. Okay. And then to carry it forward, Herb Kelleher, okay, of Southwest Airlines, said that treat your employees well and they in turn will treat your customers well.
Absolutely.
And so there, basically, you have to be more focused on giving than receiving, more persuading than coercing, more motivating than in commanding.
Excellent, guys. I'm sure audience got some amazing golders and thoughts from all 3 of you. Raki, over to you. It's really been
Thank you
to my panel.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. It's been a really great session. Thank you so much, Mr. Nirupam Chaudhary, Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee, Mr. Anmol Singh Narula, and Mr. Sachin Thakkar for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.